Okay, hi everybody. This is the Agua Giro Tuesday Zoom meeting. Real quick, in case you don't know, aguagiro.net is a website primarily designed to help you create your own trust, help you get into a private express trust, live in the private, do all your business, all your affairs you can do as a trustee instead of your legal person. It'll do a lot for you, especially insulate you from all kinds of presumed obligations that the legal system sets up for you. So, like I said, you can do it on your own. There's templates on the website. The YouTube page, Aguagiro, has instructional videos on how to do it, how to create the trust, get it executed, and what to do with it after. Banking, moving titles, putting your property, like your vehicle, in there. I also offer coaching for 6 hours at $300, and that's phone or Zoom. My hourly rate is $75 for Zoom or phone, and then I will draft the documents for you. If you really want, I do a package that includes the trust, supporting documents, banking documents to open a bank account, a bill of sale to show you how to move titles, and then a security agreement. And that puts a lien on your legal person so that nobody else will get paid from that legal person without the trust permission. So, okay, let's we're gonna go over kind of a quick, really dirty example of what a complaint might look like, what a complaint under Federal Rules of Civil Procedure, Rule 57. So I'm going to share this page. Yeah, where is it? Where is it? Where Let's template. Okay. You guys confirm you see this page that says you are the plaintiff? Yes.
Yes.
Thank you. Okay. I think I might upload this template to the website. Um, this is all can be done in like a uh Word program, but this heading here is pretty standard. You see a lot of court filings that look like this. It doesn't have to look like this. You just got to have the pertinent information, especially up here, what court should be the title of whatever where you're filing it. So this one here is for a federal court. Um, but you can do, like I said, the Rule 57. You can also do it in the state courts if you think that that's going to be a better mechanism for you. Honestly, I think if you got some kind of issue with a cop, a county cop, um, to file this in the state court, isn't a bad idea, especially if it's obvious and blatant. Um, Now, if judges are involved, if you think a judge has violated your rights or due process, then you're probably just going to want to go straight to the federal court, and that's what we're going to do here. So, um, right. So, yeah, you're the plaintiff. You're always going to be the plaintiff. All right. Now, this is a civil case. This is a civil complaint. So it's going to be your civil legal person. So you're going to have to put this is going to be your legal name. Okay. This is not a sovereign filing. This is not a common law equity filing. Okay. Your living man is not the one, living soul is not the one in this case. It's still your legal person. Okay. Now, the who you're suing can be a little tricky. Um, ultimately, it's going to be whoever is the one that actually took the action to violate your rights, whether it's a police officer or a judge. It might be a clerk, a county clerk, but this has been used in other situations too. I know a guy in Paonia, Colorado, who they turned his water off because he wanted to know some information about the meter they wanted to put on. Uh, he sued him under Rule 57 in Colorado State Court. So, uh, and it got and it's moving forward. They tried to appeal it, they tried to dismiss it, and it's still going. So,
Now leave your lip alone.
all right, I'm gonna have to mute you guys.
I mean, I remember when I was just a glimmer in Dr. King's eye, and now I'm fully enacted, sitting here with Dick Cavett. Good to see you. You too. Do you mind if I brag for a minute? In the 2 years
All
having
right,
this,
trying to find the mute all. I saw it last time.
I have eliminated literacy
Can
tests
somebody
on
please mute
the
your
state
microphones?
and
You're
name them.
hearing a TV in the background. All right, thank you. Hmm. Okay, sorry about that. All right. So yeah, the defendants, so for here, this a police officer, you know. Um okay. Uh in the heading, especially on your first filing, you're going to want to put your contact info, the plaintiff's contact info, so your mailing address and your phone number. Okay, and there should be kind of so you have the title of the court here, but then you should have the title of the complaint. And a regular complaint can be simply titled complaint, but to this one, um, we're going to call it something different. Let me see. I got my here we go. All right. So this would be okay. Yeah, so there's always going to be a standard kind of opening, real general on what you're bringing, what you're doing here. Okay, so comes now the plaintiff, you, brings this action under Federal Rule of Civil 57. And if you look up Federal Rules Civil Procedure 57, it'll see that it's really banking off this 28 USC 2201, which says the same thing, is that if you're an officer violated, your rights, then gives you a capacity to sue them. And that's important to know. You got to know that these courts can only hear certain um, types of cases. Okay, you can't just say, "I don't like what you did. I'm going to sue you." Okay, the courts can only see certain types of things, so that's why they put that in the rules of civil procedure to allow you to do this. You can't just sue a judge for at all, really, for a tort, for just doing something wrong. Okay, it can't just be a blatant complaint. It's got to be under this rule. Okay, and so once you just kind of establish this, like this is, yeah, declaratory judgment, the actions of the defendants have violated the plaintiff's constitutional rights under the Fourth, Fifth, and 14th Amendments of the United States. I mean, that'll probably be the same section for most of your cases. Okay. The Fourth, Fifth, and 14th Amendments are your due process amendments. All right. Plaintiff seeks an order returning property that may have been taken. That's not always there, but that's ultimately what you're seeking. So once you do that, then you got to establish the jurisdiction. Right. And so this 28 USC 1331 gives the court jurisdiction for this types of case. So feel free to look that up. And then, any type of event that happens within the district um, can be is that means the federal district court for that area is the proper venue. So this by its own should be able to keep you from getting dismissed for a jurisdictional challenge. All right, then after you establish a jurisdiction, you got to establish who the parties are. All right, who you are. However you want to write this, you can. Okay, but ultimately, you are the well, I guess this is kind of screwy, but um, you can establish this however you want, you know. Um, Ultimately, as the plaintiff, you know, the court is only going to bring the case as a legal person, but uh, you can still recognize that you're not it, you know. I say here's a private man without citizenship to the state of Colorado nor the United States. Plaintiff recognizes his use as an authorized representative of a legal person with a similar title. And you put the same name there, your legal person name. So, you know, you're not being uh, tricky here. You're not, um, I don't know, being deceitful. It's just the truth. Okay. You know, this is a civil case. Your legal person is going to be party to it. Uh, it's okay to say that you're not it. And then you're just going to write out who the defendant is. So who do we have up here? We had County Deputy Joe Bob. And you're going to just give as much information about them as you can. We'll call this Joe Bob for whatever, Alpha County, uh, Colorado. You know, this like you're not going to make this stuff up. You'll know what this is depending on your case. All right. Then two would be the yeah. Who do we say? Judge, County Judge John Doe. Again, I'm just kind of writing this off the top of my head, kind of just populating stuff. You'll do a lot more, I guess, research and fine tuning. All right. So here, this is just factual allegations, okay? You can call these just the facts as well. Or facts and events, however you want to say it. This is you're just going to bullet point what happened, okay? No accusations. Well, that's not true. You can actually put in actions that were specifically, violations. Yeah, so you'd be like, so once you've established the parties here, from then on out, you're only going to be talking as the plaintiff, the defendant, and the defendant. Okay, you're not going to use the officer's name or anything like that anymore. You're not going to use your name anymore. You've established who these people are, um, and you can start using them from here on out. And if you want to, to be even more precise, you put things in plaintiff here in parentheses. That means throughout the rest of the body of this document, you can just easily cite it as that. So, um, for example, your vehicle might be a big part of this. Down here in the factual allegations, you'd be like, I was, you know, was uh, traffic stop by defendant one on July 4th, 2024. Say, the defendant one uh, uh, demanded uh, identification, um, and plaintiff refused to give over identification. You know, go on and on. Okay, then you say defendant one, then forcibly removed plaintiff from vehicle from, you can say like this, you can see like whatever, 2019, oops, 19 Chevy Tahoe. Okay. And you can call it like this would be like the vehicle. And then for the rest of the document, every time you just got to say vehicle, you ain't got to call it out the whole thing. And that's really how a lot of the court cases are done. You know, specific things that are routinely used throughout the document, you can kind of put a title on them and use them. Uh, okay, you know that might be one thing. You can say this. Uh, Plaintiff was then detained without uh, accusation or evidence of a crime. Uh, Defendant one told plaintiff he was being detained for the defendant's safety. Whatever, again, you don't need to get overly detailed in this. Like I said, it's really just got to be the facts, say plaintiff appeared in county court on October 23rd, 2025 and uh challenged jurisdiction of the court and defendant one's authority to detain without probable cause. Okay, and so you know, this you would say, this is a violation of plaintiff's uh, fifth um, yeah, and so I mean, I'm not going to go through the specific arguments here because they'll get real wordy, but hopefully you can see, you just lay out the allegations here, okay? So then you have a thing called arguments. This isn't always necessary if it's super blatant, but you know, sometimes, you have to really express out why this is a violation of the Fifth Amendment, okay? You'd be here like, defendant violated, violated plaintiffs by forcing jurisdiction and detaining without cause. Some of the stuff will be kind of similar or the same as the factual arguments, but you got to just think you're laying out the facts, and then later you're tying it all together to build that argument of whatever it is. And whatever whatever the violation is, violated decision due process. Okay, so we kind of do the similar thing with this is just bullet point, making it very clear what your claim is. Okay, and this is important. You can't just throw a bunch of facts and then a bunch of arguments and then say a conclusion and expect the court to get it, to put it all together. Okay, you got to spoon feed these people. Okay, they are not the intelligent, almighty, all-knowing people that they presume to be. You have to treat them like they're kids. Walk everything out very simple. Okay. So, um, we would just really kind of bullet point here, your Fourth Amendment right was violated by the defendant, that one and right, defendant one violated this. Rights violated, due process. And then the next one would be, defendant two. All right. And that's just kind of how it's set up. Nope, some of this stuff doesn't need to be here. As you can see, at one point I was writing one, and that with a civil complaint, with a civil case for damages, there's a lot of times where they actually like break the law and commit crimes against you. Unfortunately, you can't sue somebody for a crime. Okay, you can include it as part of your argument, allude to it, but it actually make it a part of the case. You really can't do it, and if you do, at best, they're probably gonna get it dismissed. That specific part, the crime allegations, because the venue of the court just can't see it. They can't deal with it. It has to be a criminal court. So if you want to sue somebody for a crime, RICO, color of law, you can write it up. If you're already going to file a civil complaint, you can take that civil complaint, add the criminal charges that you think are due on another document, and then send that to the United States District Attorney for that federal court. They're the ones because the federal district attorneys are the ones that can bring federal charges, federal prosecutors. They're the only ones that can. So you can't file criminal charges on your own. Um, so okay, and then
Can I ask a question about that?
let me finish this real quick.
Okay.
Yeah, prayer for relief. This is specifically what you want to happen. You want a court case overturned. Um, you want your property returned. You want, you shouldn't put a dollar amount here for relief, but you will say that you want damages. And you can even say pain and suffering, or you can say compensatory damages for lost wages, lost time. Um, and yeah, whatever you really want. But then again, if you are asking for, you can't really ask the judge to be or somebody to get fired. I guess you could ask, but I mean that's more of a tort thing. This is really just again, this is a declaratory judgment. This is saying that something that happened was unconstitutional, and that's it. And here's an important one. Okay, if you're going to take this route, you know that you're not the legal person. You're still bringing this case for the legal person because that's all there is. And so you can put that legal person's name here, but then underneath it, you autograph it like this, and you make sure you put a period when you sign it at the end here, authorized representative. And you can sign all your legal paperwork this way. Doesn't need to be explained. They don't even want you to explain it, but um, that will at least signify that you know that there's a difference. Uh, okay, what was the question about criminal charges?
Yeah, so in the declaratory judgment, you're saying the criminal charges are separate for like a separate tort complaint. You can take that up with the district attorney's office. When you file that separate tort complaint with the district attorney's office for say like a 241, 242, or 1983, any of those actions, would you include this declare? Did I understand that you said include this document as well after the fact, or?
Well, I mean, you can do it however you want. You could write up a complaint and just send it to the district attorney if you want and hope they go prosecute them.
Okay, without filing, you could do that.
Yeah. I mean,
Okay.
you can send a complaint to the U.S. district attorney for anything you want.
Okay.
It's totally up to them if they're going to take it.
And then include some type of evidence, I would assume.
Well, that's the thing is you have to build an argument for them. You know,
Hmm.
like you can't just say,
Of
"Hey, this
course.
judge and this officer and this other guy, they committed RICO and
Yeah.
they're violating, under the color of law, and I want you to go after them." You got to explain it exactly to them why it's
Mm.
RICO, why it's the color of law. You got to,
And would you include like say like transcripts of where the actions, where the violations, due process violations, and the clear like fraudulent violations
No.
occurred.
So
You would do that
that's discovery.
afterwards.
That's
Okay,
discovery.
got it.
Okay. And that's a thing a lot of people make the mistake. And I made the mistake all the time. The first
Yeah,
several cases I did. Your complaint is not your entire case.
yeah.
A
That's
complaint
that's a
is
good
just
way
a
to put it.
complaint. You're just bringing it to the court, getting the whole thing started. You don't have to have tons of exhibits. You don't
Mhm.
have to have all the proof. You don't have to get it from A to Z. You really just got to show that there's a complaint here. These actions, the way I expressed them, evidence a problem, a crime, a
Yeah.
violation of due process. And that's it.
And so you would mail that certified mail perhaps to like the district sorry, the attorney general's office.
What I would do is I would file my complaint the way I want to do it. I would then take that. I would write up another complaint or another document, just a letter,
Uh-huh.
and add the crimes.
Got you.
And say this
Got you.
crime here, evidence why it's a crime. This crime here, evidence, and package that together. Um, you don't really need to send transcripts. You just really need
Hmm.
to get their attention. If they think it's a crime, they have access to all the transcripts if they want them. They can get any transcript from any court. You don't want to do that up front. If they call
Yeah.
you and say,
Yeah.
"Hey, I'm thinking about moving forward on what you sent me," they may ask you then to get a bunch of the evidence. They may ask you then to
Okay.
get all the transcripts and other paperwork to help them to build their case because
Hmm.
they're really doing it for you. So that's
Yeah.
how that would work.
Okay. Tracking. Thank you for that.
Yep. Um, any questions about this? I'm going to end the recording here pretty soon because I want to keep it short. So, your biggest challenge really when you're doing this is A, being able to capture all the factual allegations without getting too wordy, keeping it super simple to the point and consolidating your arguments. I know we want to get wordy. We want to explain absolutely everything, and it's not going to help you. The shorter and punchier it is, the more they're going to like it than pages on pages of just, dribble. And then your arguments, this stuff's tricky, and
Oh, sorry.
if you're doing this, I'll be more than happy to help you in the consultation. Okay. If you're gonna start, I'm already doing this with a few folks. I'm asking them to write this. I'll go over it after you do a one pass and try to do it yourself and get you kind of pointed in the right direction. Because once you get pointed in the right direction, this stuff gets super easy. This stuff is not that hard once you see how to do it. So
Is this something that you would recommend? Are there prerequisites that need to be set prior to doing this versus you like for me, I would draft like pro se, right? But
yeah,
I don't know if
this is a pro se complaint.
so this is under private.
No, it's
This
pro
is
se.
under okay, so pro se is what? I mean, how would you define or constitute pro
This
se?
is pro se basically right here.
It
Right.
is, but you didn't use pro se. So why
No,
why
but
would
you'd
you
still
not use
say
pro
pro
se?
se. I mean, they're going to make it pro se either way. You can call it. This is, yeah, you don't want to hide. And you have to be pro se. You have to because it's a
Yeah.
civil complaint. Your legal person's involved, and you're representing your legal person. This is how it's structured.
Okay, I wasn't sure if you were utilizing the authorized representative for a particular reason because you're a private person coming forward, or if there's any other reason for
It's
that.
not relevant to the. I mean, this is really the crux of the confusion here. I mean, your arguments here, the most powerful arguments we have as people in these courts is the due process arguments. And
Mhm.
ultimately, the due process arguments cover all the sovereign arguments.
Hmm.
But you can't go in there expressing your sovereignty. You can't go
Right,
in there trying to define who you are because it doesn't matter.
right,
Your sovereignty is not on trial.
right.
Their actions are on trial. What they're doing is the problem. And you're just bringing the case through the system that needs your legal person to get involved. And so
Mhm.
You can just sign it normal and say you are the legal person if you want, and it shouldn't affect how this works.
Okay.
But I know I'm not it, so I can't say that I am. And the best thing I can do is, basically say, yeah, I'm the authorized representative for a legal person that shares the same title.
Hmm.
Like to use the word domicile because domicile is for people. Residency is temporary. Residency is for hotels. I don't have citizenship to the legal state. I'm not within that legal state, nor the corporation.
Hmm.
Okay. And that's it.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Yeah, allegations. This is what happened.
Hmm.
And you can make this like 3 or 4, or you can make it 30 bullet points long. But the more concise you can do it and stick to the relevant stuff is tricky. It's very challenging because you want to add all these little things they did and all these little things they said that weren't cool and weren't nice and were shitty. But
Hmm.
if it's not affecting your due process, it's in the way. Okay. Any more questions? All right. I'm stopping the recording.